When someone tells you about an old German village, what would you think about? Wooden houses, lots of beer, old German people, hills or mountains, and some kind of small castle, I guess. The city I will be talking about has not one but two castles, and they are the reason why people are getting to this place. Also, this city is not only about castles, it has everything I told you about. So that is what we came here for. But the common mistake is to rush the most beautiful place of the city just from the beginning. That is not really the right thing to do. The first thing we're going to is a church. That is a pretty old one, and it looks really special for this kind of place. Here we have some kind of medieval tower. As you can see, there's a construction, and that's pretty common in Germany. And there is our next destination. It was built in 1276, and the tower, as you can see, is not really from that time. In Middle Ages, that was the city tower, so the wall for the defenders. But then it was reconstructed to the church bell. So the next thing on our list, wooden houses. On December 1st, 1276, King Rudolf of Habsburg granted Gottfried von Eppstein the same rights for his city as other towns in the empire, and approved the use of the name of a free town. Here you can see numerous Hautibert houses from the late 16th to 18th century. They were the sign of wealth of those families who built their business on trading. Here we have some kind of unrestored building. I don't know how old is it, but this whole sealed. So this one is not really that old. It was built in 1568 by Philip II, I guess. That's why it is called Philippsburg. And that was the first one Renaissance Schloss, so Renaissance castle in the Middle Rhine. And you can see some still preserved city walls. It also houses the European Castle Institute, which finances the Marksburg, and it has a castle library, which is not located in Marksburg but here. Let's take a break and rest near the Rhine River. So the Rhine River is an important trading point for many countries at all times, actually. Now it connects Switzerland, France, Germany, of course, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Belgium. And even in Roman times, that was really important for transporting the troops and money to Roman colonies. In Middle Ages, this city became rich, like I said, because of the trade here. And now there is also an important trading route between all those European countries. It's much faster than traveling with horses or just by foot. Now that looks like some kind of old medieval tower, but it is not. If you look closer, you will see the dates. So that is a memorial for the First World War. And as a tower, it looks not really functional. If you can see, there is no place here, which doesn't make any sense. So yes, that is just a memorial, but pretty nice one. Pretty nice one. There is a difference between Schloss and Burg in German. So they both stand for castles, but it's some kind of difference. Schloss is more modern one from 15th century or later, and Burg is about medieval castle. In times of Romanticism, rich people were inspired with this old look of German castles, and they wanted to replicate this somehow, but it lost its function. Now it became more like a beautiful part of their land, but not really something that will protect their land from invaders. So like I said, Schloss and Burg, they have some differences, and in this city we have both of them. The Philipsburg, which is actually Schloss, and Marksburg, which is real medieval castle from medieval times. But we'll get there. Germany is famous for beer, but this region is not about it at all. That is about wine. They have lots of wine and grape plantations across the Rhine River and Mosel River, and this is the main part where all the Germany gets its wine. So the city as well as the castle were under multiple rulers. They were under Duchy of Nassau, then under Prussia, under French occupation during World War One and World War Two. But now there is a city in the state of Rhineland-Pfalz. Here you can see all those details, and here especially. So now we are coming to our next destination. That is this church. So it looks pretty old, but in truth, it was built in 1901. That was built in style of historismus, which refers not to some specific architectural style, but kind of to all of them. It tries to look old. And here we have some kind of tourist information center, if you ever need this. And the construction site, of course. It wouldn't be Germany without this. So the first time castle was mentioned was in 1231, but it probably existed already in 1219. Previously it was called the Braubach Castle. It had the name of the city, but then they decided to rename it to Marksburg. In 1283 the castle goes to Graf Ebenhard II from the family of Katzenelnbogen. That was really rich family in this region. From 1689 to 1692, French army destroyed almost every castle on both sides of the Rhine River. But this, and only this castle, survived the French, and now it stands here. Most of the castles from the Rhine River are ruins now, but that one attracts lots of tourists every year just to see the true medieval castle on the Rhine River. Then it went to many rulers from many different states. Under the Duchy of Nassau, the castle became a prison, and it was not used for defending reasons anymore. In 1900, the organization I told you about bought the castle, and now they organize all kinds of tourist attractions there, and you can also visit them. The castle has lots of preserved interiors, which are really a great picture of those times. That is really German. So if they see something on the floor, they'll just pick it up and place on some high point. Maybe here also. So that guy who lost will come back and take this from here. The city of Braubach is not really that special. It has one really important castle for all European history, but that's mostly it. But the idea is that every city could be beautiful if you give some more exploration into it. So I hope now you understand that it's important to be adventurous no matter what city you visit. And even in those small, tiny villages, you can find lots of really interesting and beautiful stuff. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video.